So hi, everyone. Thank you for coming today. This is our Star Leadership Institute preview. I am Dana Shive. I'm the Director of Membership Services at PSNA. Our Director of Professional Development, Kelly Stevens, will be presenting the information on the Star Leadership Institute. And then we also have two past attendees of the Institute, Jessica Newman and James Ballinghoff, and they will both be sharing their experience with everyone. So I will turn it over to Kelly now, and we will get started. There will be time at the end for questions. So if anyone has anything that comes up that they want to ask, we will have that at the end.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kelly, and I am the Director of Professional Development, and I am in charge of the education piece of the Star Leadership Program. I've been to one Star Leadership Institute program, and that was at the very early onset of my start at PSNA, which was in September of 2018. The Star Leadership Institute was started many years ago to help leaders engage in kind of a next level of leadership. Nurses at all levels, from managers to the bedside, are rising to leadership positions in organizations and associations across the country. So skills in financial management, team building, negotiation, crucial conversations, conflict resolution, measuring healthcare quality, and interprofessional practice are very valued and supported by leadership in healthcare and CEOs and those powers that be. So the PSNA Star Leadership Institute is basically a 2-day leadership development program designed for new nurse managers, directors, or those rising stars within your organization to achieve their leadership goals. We know that the performance of healthcare organization depends on the capabilities and competencies of the nursing staff and its nursing leaders. This year, the Star Leadership Institute is moving beyond education of healthcare providers through a single lens to create a collaborative learning experience for all members of a healthcare team. And expanding evidence-based complex patient needs, healthcare mergers, acquisitions emphasize the need for a thorough understanding of the multifaceted systems and real life problems. So there's a 2-day didactic program, which would take place this year, April 21st and 22nd. And during that time, participants will form interdisciplinary teams to develop a problem-based project surrounding a healthcare issue with a community/population focus, identifying its health impact, the access and cost. And then participants will return on October 20th of 2022 to present and discuss their projects and the lessons that they learned. This year, I need to move my Zoom screen here so I can see you or see it, not you. This year, just to kind of give you an overview, day one, it would be healthcare policy, advanced healthcare policy. We have a speaker from Pono coming, and she's from Gannon University, but she's on the Speakers Bureau for the Pennsylvania Organization of Nurse Leaders. And she has many publications on healthcare policy and is a speaker by history. So she's going to cover that topic for us. And then we have advanced negotiation, the skill of effective persuasion, which sounds like the coolest course ever. And that's going to be by, I think it is, Lisa Decker. She's actually a lecturer at Harvard Law School, and she's a clinical instructor in the Harvard Negotiation and Mediation Clinical Program. And so she's going to teach leaders how to persuade their leaders, which is all part of this process. We have another speaker that day. Her name is Heather Scherk. She's coming to us from WellSpan in York. She's actually works in analytics and outcomes. Her main focus now is nursing informatics, but she, like myself, is a former psych nurse and a former educator. But she's doing kind of education in nursing informatics for WellSpan at this time. Another course that day, another piece that day, we have Linda Beck. She is a managing partner of Beck and Associates Consulting Group, and she presents a topic called Dare to Disc. leveraging your personality style at work. And what she does is prior to the program, she sends out a survey for everyone to take, and they complete that personality survey to have ready and be able to share and work with at the event. So it'll take less time, and she can spend the full 45 minutes, kind of talking about the personality differences and teaching folks how to manage and handle other personality types and things of that nature. Sometimes difficult personalities and things like that. So she Dare to Disc is a really popular course, and it's actually been part of Star Leadership now. I think at least 3 of the institutes have had her or someone speak on that. And then day 1 would end with some networking. We'll start to just kind of pair into groups, teams, who will work together on their projects. Our last Star Leadership had like a few folks from the same organization, so it was really easy. They worked together, but we did have a couple people who worked together from different organizations as well, and it worked just fine. I feel like the ones who worked together had a lot more ability to keep in touch, but it works both ways. It can work either way. Day 2 this year is going to be started off by Wendy Arnott, who works it was Vital Smarts. I believe they just changed their title, but she's our Crucial Conversations content expert and speaker. She literally is the one who talks about how to handle conversations that are they're just difficult. They're not always things that we want to talk about on all different levels, with your staff, with management, with patients, just how sometimes it's hard to have conversations that we know we need to have. And that's all part of, improving that leadership level for the new nurse and getting them prepared to go into those environments where the conversations might not, be as easy as some others that they've had to deal with. And they become a big, especially with innovation and change, being able to present that to others in the best way. So she'll be talking about that. And then we have Susan Rux coming to us from SR Strategic Solutions. She's actually the founder and CEO of SR Strategic Solutions. And she's going to talk about how to build teams and utilizing improvisation and true colors as strategies to promote interprofessional collaboration. She has a wealth of knowledge and background in team building and structuring and improving performances through teamwork. And she's going to discuss real world strategies that interprofessional teams can employ to promote engagement. And that will be beneficial to their organization as well as the team that's going to work together on the project. So she's setting up that team focus. And then our last speaker, the 8th speaker we have, is Denise Hamill. And she's actually the founder and CEO of Excellence First Incorporated, Nursing Futures as well. She is actually going to speak on innovation strategy and design thinking. She's going to present innovative approaches to learning and organizational change. And that's key. And it's a great way to end the entire 2-day presentation list, because the goal at the end of that day is to take that group and come up with a way to change, an innovation, innovation that they can offer in their hospital. And I know Jess can talk about hers, and I'll open that up in a second, but that's the key. And that's what comes from this whole institute. And then the learners do get to break off into those groups. They'll have access to a mentor, and they'll work together to accomplish that task. And they'll be able to then bring that back in October and present it for, us, as well as their CEOs if they'd like to attend, or nurse managers if they'd like to attend. It's a big day. It'll be at the Hotel Bethlehem. We'll have a room block there. Maybe, I don't know, I'll let Dana provide if there's anything extra, but I know that we'll have that one full day there in a conference room with meals served through the day, and they always feed us very well at the Hotel Bethlehem. But that's the overview. That's the gist of the program. I loved it for my own personal experience. I didn't get to participate. I also didn't get to teach. I was literally on my third day, maybe fourth day as a staff member here. So I really did get to sit in and listen and learn and just watch the whole process. And everybody had a great time. Everybody really was engaging. And I thought almost all the speakers were great. I think some of the topics are not always super exciting. So we did try to reach out to the best speakers that we could to engage and get the point across as best we can. We want to keep everybody excited about learning and take something at the end of the day that they can take back to their organization and show how they can make an improvement. I will pass it on to, I have Jess and James. Jess was one of our attendees at the 2018. It was my first, September of 2018. So we kind of wanted to know if you could just share a couple words about how it impacted you, what you thought about it, and how you feel it helped you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hello, all. I'm so glad everybody was able to be here. So yeah, my name is Jessica Newman. I'm the Magnet Program Director here at Robert Packer Hospital. We're in Northeast PA, almost next door to the New York State border. But I would just say that that the Star Institute, the one thing I think that's better than just going to a conference, right? Well, probably there's a couple things, but one of them being networking, obviously. I think in some regards, it's really nice to have a local team, because it's people who you're probably going to bump into again, or who are in your kind of neighborhood neck of the woods. They get your demographic, they get your general area and population, and they're often struggling with some of the same issues that you are struggling with as an organization. So I do think that having kind of some of that common ground is something unique about STAR versus just going to a broader national conference. The other thing I felt that was really great was the ability to actually have organizational impact from your attendance. Because I do think a lot of conferences, I mean, I've been to some, I've seen other people go to conferences, and you come back inspired with a lot of ideas, but sometimes it drives change, but not always, right? Sometimes it just ends up being like some great ideas. Maybe there's some sharing. But I feel like with STAR, it allows some of that personal connection, and you actually have had the mentorship and growth of the team to support you and say, where are you with your project? How is it going? Which, I think from an organizational standpoint, you want, if you're going to invest in your leaders and invest in your up and coming, like you really do want to see some kind of that return on investment, some of that come back to the organization as a return. And I really think that STAR allows that, because you do get that mentoring and coaching, not to mention the speakers really were excellent. And there was a lot of time for dialogue, for conversation. I still use stuff that I learned there in all honesty, because you have time. It's not so fast paced where you're running from one thing to another. You get to absorb and do activities that really drive you to say, like, okay, how are you going to approach this as a leader in your organization? Which is nice, and I think has allowed me to kind of grow in different roles and have opportunity to say, I have some interest in understanding a little bit about maybe policy things or finance things in areas where maybe before I would say, I mean, I was an educator for a while, and in all honesty, nobody ever talked to me about finance, right? So it's kind of nice to have an opportunity to stretch and grow in areas that maybe that leader coming into STAR has never had exposure before, and maybe might feel a little shy in the organization to be like, I know nothing about this, but to have that opportunity during the conference to kind of have that exposure to a new area within sort of healthcare leadership and growth. So sorry, maybe that was more than I should have rattled on, but I sort of sum up my kind of couple thoughts.
No, I think that's great. Did you have a favorite presenter? that you remember?
I would say crucial conversations was invaluable. I mean, I'd had some exposure to crucial conversations, but frankly, I don't know that you can have enough exposure to crucial conversations to really be forced to sit down and say, okay, we're going to practice. Like, because you read a book or you hear a presentation, but to say, we're going to practice some crucial conversations. How would you have this conversation? Let's work through it. I think is really meaningful, because being able to have conversations and communicate effectively, to me, you can have all the leadership skill in the world, and if you can't communicate, you will never succeed as a leader within healthcare. So, I mean, I think you really have to nail the ability to connect and communicate with others. So I think that one was one of my favorites.
I agree. I think that one was my favorite too. I think that was an overall most popular one. It was not the easiest one, and that was still really popular. I like as well, because we do, as nurses, go to conferences all the time, and they cost money, but what value does it bring back to the organization and you, for you? But STAR does impact not just the nurse, but the nurses organization. So I like that you brought that up, and I think that's a really good point. Thank you for sharing.
Of course.
James, what year did you attend STAR Leadership?
2007. The first cohort to go through was many years ago, like you said.
We bookended it, James.
You did.
First and the last.
First and last. That's amazing. Well, James, I'll open it up for you if you wouldn't mind sharing, some of the things that you took from the Institute, and anything you'd like to share with everyone would be great.
Sure. Well, first, I'm Jim Ballinghoff, and I'm the Chief Nursing Officer at Penn Presbyterian Medical Center. And thank you for the opportunity to share my experience. I agree with everything that Jessica just outlined, and was so impressed and all to hear you describe the program now, Kelly, because one of the other perks is that each year you get a lot of feedback and you revise the program, and to hear what the program has turned into is just phenomenal. I was even thinking at the time when you were describing it, I wonder if they would let me in it. Because there's so many great topics here. But like Jessica described, the networking, first of all, and I still have a contact with 2 or 3 of the people that were in that program with me. When a lot of us go into these leadership positions, you get thrown in. It's baptism by fire, and you try to find your way along, as you go along. And just to be able to come together, with other leaders or inspiring leaders, and to be in that same position at the same time, and to get exposed to these things like Jessica described, the financial things. No one really ever sits down and teaches you that type of stuff. And typically when you get your leadership position, you're almost afraid to ask, because you think, oh, they probably think I should know those things. So to be in that safe setting and to be able to learn and ask, your peers and colleagues around about those different things, learning about, having those crucial conversations with people, particularly when you have somebody, reporting to you. Emotional intelligence is so important in a leadership role, and you get a piece of that, out of it. The strategy and design that you talked about, back then we were very focused on, quality and safety was really coming in vogue back then. I think, there's always been a focus on it, but we didn't really understand the impact that had on, experience and financials and length of stay and all the different things that those things impact. So, being able to be guided through a project there where you feel comfortable, talking to your mentor and your coach about, getting through it. And like Jessica described, you get a real sense of pride to be able to
know that you have made, an impact on your organization, and that you contributed something. And then those skills that you take, particularly from that project, you then can utilize those over and over and over again, and you continue to develop those skills year after year after year. And I always reference back, I talk about the Star Leadership Institute, when I've interviewed for different positions throughout my career, because it really did give me a foundation to build off of. And, I just continued to grow from there. And just to hear, how this program has evolved is just amazing. And I encourage anybody who gets the opportunity to participate in this to take advantage of that.
Thank you. Those are great words. And I love that you were in the first group and Jess was in the last group. I think that we have planned at some point to have a Star Leadership kind of reunion. And Jen has talked about it in the past and said that one of these days we're going to have just a dinner or something somewhere, and just all the Star Leadership graduates are welcome to come and mentor and catch up. And it would be really fun and interesting to see everybody connect again and share. So I think it's
that would be awesome. As you were, the tapes rolling, and I'm seeing all the, different pictures from the different cohorts there. One of them reports to me now. I hired her as our director of informatics. Another one I work with, she's the director of education for the entire Penn Medicine health system. And Joe, he's a big time leader at HUP 54, their new hospital that they opened. And and it's going fast, so I haven't had the time, but to see all of these different people that I know and collaborate with from different organizations that have moved up since attending this program is just phenomenal. So a reunion would be awesome.
Yeah, that's a great testimony. And that's awesome. I mean, you can see some of the sizes. Some of these were very, very big. The last one was pretty small in comparison, I think. Did our picture come up, Jess? I missed it if it was up there.
It's coming up.
I remember where it was.
Yeah,
I remember. Oh, there it is. That's our little group. But I thought it was really intimate. I think that they're capping the attendance at 20 this year. And I think that when you said, Jess, what you did, a lot of people did say they enjoyed the intimate conversation ability to connect. And when you're in the large arena, sometimes you don't get that. But we literally held the conference in a conference room, much like a board would sit at a table. So it was a very comfortable, very close, and I just thought it was a very intimate way to learn, and everybody, I think, felt way more comfortable sharing. It's a small group of people, and it just, people, I think overall we saw that in survey data. It was enjoyed at that smaller level. So we're going to see how that goes this year and see how many applicants we get. The application process is online now. I don't know how, I guess it was last time as well. I wasn't part of that, but is that live yet, Dana? It is.
Yes. Yep. I was looking at it today. It is up and ready to go. And
Awesome.
after today, I will send a follow-up email to everyone with that link and the information. So you will have it right in your email box by tomorrow morning.
Awesome. But yeah, does anybody have any questions for us? No questions. Well, I'm glad everybody came. I appreciate you guys coming to give your testimony, and I know we'll hopefully be able to use that maybe in some marketing, right, Dana?
Yes, thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. And especially, like I said, it was short notice, so we really appreciate it. And I think it was very helpful to hear participants' feedback. So that was awesome. Thank you so much.
And we will keep in touch if there's a reunion. We'll be sure everybody gets notified, and hopefully we can do that in the near future. I would love to meet everybody. So
Yes.
now that we're back in person mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be back in person in October for the first time at the Hotel Bethlehem, and I'm so super excited. If you've never been there, it's so beautiful.
It is.
Even if I'll put a plug for them that has nothing to do with PSNA. Bethlehem, Hotel Bethlehem is fabulous, and the town is amazing, and there's great shops, and it's just adorable. It's supposedly really nice at Christmas. Haven't been there at Christmas. But. So there's my plug for the Hotel Bethlehem. I was not paid for that.
Well, thank you everyone so much. Like I said, I will email out the details tomorrow. If anyone thinks of any questions, please email me at any time and I will get you the information that you need.
Yeah, thank you guys so much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good rest of the day.
Thank
Ursula, do you
you.
have a question?
Yeah, you said you email us, but what's your email?
My email is dshive, and that's S as in Sam, HIV as in Victor E at psna.org. And I have everyone's email addresses from registering for the Star Leadership. So I have your contact information, Ursula, and I'll get that information to you, like I said, by tomorrow morning.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Yes, thank you. Let's make sure there's a comment. Okay. All right. Dana, so you said that we're going to go live with that it is live. That's awesome. No, those will go right to me. So I haven't seen any yet. That's why.
Okay.
Apparently, if you apply, it will come. Your application will go right to me. So.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, cool.
And I'll let you know, Kelly, if I get any questions, because I'll probably need your help with them.
No worries. If anybody has questions, just direct them right to me. If